I've made millions of dollars day trading, but if I had to start over and I only had $1,000, here's exactly what I would do to get back to millionaire status. Hi, my name is Tim Sykes. I'm a trader for 25 years. I've made nearly $8 million now, and I've mentored over 50 millionaire students. What can you actually do even if you just have a very small account? Well, step number one, you have to find the right broker, okay? If you only have $1,000, you can't just have Goldman Sachs as your broker. You have to focus on retail brokers, whether it's Interactive Brokers or E-Trade or Robinhood. These are all basic brokers, Webull too. But no matter what, you need a broker to execute your trades. Step number two, you have to focus on the right stocks. Which stocks can actually grow so fast that your $1,000 can grow too? I have to help you because if you're trading a lot of the biggest companies like Tesla or Amazon or Facebook, Meta, whatever they're called these days, they might change their names, their stocks just don't move enough, quick enough for you to truly maximize your $1,000. Understand you have to pick the right stocks, and I actually cover how to pick the best stocks to trade in detail in my next video. But here's the main point. You have to be very meticulous with choosing how to use your money because you only have $1,000. So you need plays that can spike 25%, 50%, 100%, even 500% in a day. That's how you grow your small account, okay? So we're looking for very volatile stocks that scare most people, but again, if you have a small account, you don't really have that much to lose, right? So where do you find stocks that can spike 50, 100, 200, 300%? Well, I'm looking for small cap and micro cap stocks. These are companies that have valuations of 10 million, 20 million, 50 million, 100 million. I know that sounds like a lot, $100 million, but on Wall Street, $100 million is small potatoes. And with the right news, especially in AI or crypto lately, a $100 million company can become a $200 million company like that. So how do you actually find these small cap companies that can spike so big? Well, I'm using stocks to trade. I'm using stocks to trade breaking news. You need a news catalyst that can really double, triple, quadruple the valuation of a company in 1, 2, 3 days. So for me, I like to see the news. I like to see a stock already spiking 10, 20, 30%. I don't trade stocks that are unchanged. I don't trade stocks that are down on the day. Focus on stocks that have already spiked a little bit and then have potential legs to spike even more. And I encourage you, even though you're looking at real-time plays every single day, study my video lessons, study my own trades that I throw out daily in chat. I'm trying to give you ideas so that you can see these stocks spiking in real time. A lot of this game is just you getting comfortable with the volatility, being prepared how fast some of these stocks move. It's easy to say a stock spikes 100% in a day, but sometimes these 100% spikes can happen in an hour. Sometimes they can happen in 20 or 30 minutes, and they give a huge advantage to people with small accounts. You might look at your $1,000 as a huge disadvantage, but if you're prepared with these volatile stocks ahead of time, you can really grow a small account faster than somebody with a big account because they're burdened by their large size. Think about that. Understand, I also have a detailed video on picking stocks, and that's going to publish next week. So make sure you're subscribed and have notifications turned on. You do not want to miss it. But long story short, you have to find the right pattern. You have to find the best setup that works for you and your personality and your schedule. I have a lot of students who are part-time students. They have full-time jobs. They have $1,000. They're just trading randomly, right? Like, okay, I have a lunch break. Let's see if I can use my $1,000 on a good play. Or they might get out of work at 2 or 3 p.m. and then they're just trading for the afternoon and after hour session, 3 p.m., 4 p.m. for an overnight hold. So if it were me, and I was looking for a stock and I only had $1,000 in my account, I would look for morning spikes if possible. That happens usually around 9:30 a.m. Eastern when the market opens, but lately pre-market spikers, which is 4 to 7 a.m. Eastern if you want to wake up early or if you're one of my European students. Also 7 a.m. is when a lot of retail brokers open like E-Trade, like TD Ameritrade. So 4 to 7 a.m., 7 a.m., or 9:30 a.m., all around the morning, because that's when everyone's looking for new plays and you can have the biggest spikers. But again, if your schedule prohibits trading in the morning, look for stocks that are spiking into the close into 4 p.m. Eastern. You might get a spike then. Either way, I'm looking for stocks that can really spike very fast. Then I can use my small account to my advantage. But it's also not just about in the morning or in the afternoon, it's anytime. For example, on the way here to the studio, I was in a taxi and a trade popped up. Stocks to Trade breaking news alerted this ticker CDLX. They had some positive partnership news. Citron Research also pumped them on their social media. So I saw CDLX spiking. It was already up 75%. So I literally pulled the taxi over. I'm late to the studio. Taxi guy is yelling at me. I'm like, keep the change. I don't care. I pulled over. I opened my laptop. I went to a coffee shop and I traded CDLX. I didn't chase it when it was up 74%. I actually waited for a 10 to 15% dip. I know this is getting a little detailed, but I don't like to chase stocks right at their high, but I'm looking for a stock that already has a catalyst. It's being pumped by somebody with a big social media, which was Citron Research. I got the dip off the high, and the whole goal was, could it dip off the high and then bounce back to the highs and then ideally make new highs? And for me, I trade a little bigger, but I still trade rather small. I put in around $6,000 on the dip buy, and within 15 minutes, I had made 10%. I'm already late to the studio, so I didn't have time to give it some extra time. I locked in the 10%. So on a $6,000 position, I made around $600 in 15 minutes. You could have taken a smaller position and the stock actually hit new highs as I was getting to the studio. So there actually was about 20 or even 30% upside from my dip buy. And this was all in the middle of the day. That's just one example. And it's not necessarily the most volatile example, but it's real time because it just happened about an hour ago. So it's pretty cool. The better you know your setups, the more prepared you are to capitalize on them. I wouldn't suggest pulling over from a taxi and doing a 15-minute trade if you're completely new at this. But again, I've been doing this for 25 years. I want you to get on that level too. And stay tuned for my next video because I share my favorite setups there. Learn from my favorite setups, learn from the 50 millionaire students who are sharing their favorite setups, and then you will find your own setups too. That's what this is all about. Taking all the information that's out there and implementing it into your own process. Step number 4, again, you only have $1,000. How do you grow it? Practice, practice, practice. Try different dollar amounts. You don't know what's going to work for you. Some people are more aggressive, some people are more conservative, but try putting in $500 or $300, or if you've studied a lot or if you get very comfortable, put in $700. I know that sounds crazy, but again, if you get used to these patterns and you follow rule number 1, which is cut losses quickly, you're not risking your whole $700. For me, even if I'm betting $700 or $500, if I'm wrong, I'm going to get out very quickly. So I am very conservative, even though we're trading very volatile stocks. But this is the beautiful thing. If you only have $1,000, you can choose how much you want to put in. But I'll tell you, if you only put in like $50 or $70 into a trade, you're just not going to make very much very quickly, and you're not going to get the emotional education. A lot of this is dealing with your own hard-earned money, and we all work very hard for our money. So how fast can you grow that hard-earned money? And if it starts going the other way, which does happen on some trades, are you mentally prepared to cut those losses? How are you going to cut those losses? How are you going to treat these trades? And how are you going to maximize this money if you only had $1,000? You have to be very, very meticulous. Every single dollar counts, but if you put yourself in the best setups with the most volatility, you can really grow it. If you just focus one trade at a time, let's say you put in $700 and you do the trade that I just did from the taxi and you make 10%, you make $70. Not huge money, but now your $1,000 is $1,070. Rinse and repeat over and over again, and you can bet bigger as you go on, and ideally you make more than 10% over time. When you have a small starting stake, the world is yours. Guess what? We sometimes see, and I don't want you to think that it happens all the time, but we sometimes see stocks that go up 500 or 1,000%. So if you can catch those runners, for example, the other day I was buying OCTO in the 5s, I was selling it in the 6s. It was a beautiful breakout play. It went all the way up to 60 same day. Not every play is going to do that. That's very rare, but that's 10 times your money. If you ride one of these plays, and Octo is an extreme example, but that can grow your account from, let's say, $1,000 to $10,000. And we've had several supernovas like that. But even if you grow from 1,000 to 5,000, this is how you do it, focusing on these volatile stocks that big accounts can't take on because of their size. You have an advantage with a small account. Whether you make $70, whether you make $500, it all helps to grow your account and grow your knowledge account. You get that experience. I actually have another video where I go into detail on how to day trade. Focus on that, study it. This is all for now. I'll see you next time.